What's on my heart today to talk to you about is what happens when our moods become chronic. And so I'm going to talk a little bit today about the dangers of allowing frustration or resentment to become chronic in your system and in your life. All right? So glad you guys are coming out to join me. So, irritability, frustration, resentment, these are some of the toxic emotions that settle in and take up space and become really normalized to us. And I'm coming to you shining a light on this bogus idea that this is normal motherhood. You know, if there's one message that I really want you to get here in this community, it's that resentment, overwhelm, exhaustion, those are not the norm in motherhood unless you've bought into that. And so much of what's circulating through whatever social media, through our minds, it's collective consciousness of motherhood right now. In our culture, in our society, it really affirms that story that yep, it's a struggle and it's hard and it'll break your heart, and there's not support the way we do it, so it's just gonna suck, and we end up telling those stories ourselves. And when we do, they create more feelings of resentment, irritability, feeling small, feeling helpless, hopeless. A lot of the women who reach out to me are in despair already, or in despair, just feeling like, I don't know I can't change this. Even if I wanted to, I can't change this. Nothing will really help me. That's despair. So at some point, those moods become chronic and they metastasize. It's like they become how you parent. They influence how you show up to your partner. They keep you from asking for what you need in lots of ways, in your work, in your profession, in your career. They keep you from setting boundaries. And what I want to say is overwhelm is the problem, you guys. You are not the problem. You may feel broken, and I want to acknowledge that, that if that feels like your true story because of early life trauma or big motherhood wounds or trauma, some of you have faced a lot of trauma since becoming mothers, that those will tend to just carve out a story in your body of feeling like you only know survival mode since becoming a mom. They will carve out a path of there's never enough in your mentality. There's just never going to be enough time. There's never going to be enough. Maybe it's money. There's never going to be enough support. I'll always be tired, so there's never enough energy. There's definitely not going to be enough cooperation because I don't know how to ask for that support, right? So what happens when you are in that place of feeling irritable every day, snapping at kids, maybe you're yelling at kids, feeling that frustration boiling? Oh, why won't you just? If only everyone would just do everything that I tell them to, like, this would be so much better, right? Can a part of you resonate with that? How many of you have ever felt that? If you would all just do what I tell you to, right? Click the like button if that sounds or feels familiar, whether you say it out loud or whether you just think it in your head. What is wrong with you guys? Here you are working so hard to run this ship, but from a place of what? What mood are you coming from? What mood in you has become an everyday or almost everyday state, has become chronic? What negative mood or toxic energy are you chronically in? And a lot of you, I know, a lot of my clients who come to work with me don't see it in the beginning. You don't see that the energy you're flowing into your family is so toxic. It's, God, I wish you weren't who you are. We say that to kids without saying it out loud. I wish you weren't like you are. I wish you were different. So we're judging them. We're causing separation. We're saying, God, if only you would. So I'm not loving and accepting you as you are. We say that to partners and they run away with this, like, what can I do? I'm not good enough. And so why even try, right? If you experience that one, say yes in the comments if any of this sounds familiar for you. So when we flow that energy into our homes and families, we're going to get it back, you guys. We're going to get it all back times 100. Kids eventually not listening and cooperating, the sass when they hit the tween years, the partner tuning us out, I can't help anyway, what's the point? All of that perpetuates itself and becomes its own chronic vibration of the family. All right? Everybody collectively shuts down. Right? So if we're shut down, they're going to shut down. And fortunately, the opposite is also true. When we open, they're going to open. When we awaken, they're going to awaken. That whatever is going on in us is a mirror in them, okay? So I want you guys to really get that. Whatever mood we're settling into, it's becoming chronic. So you're just signing that contract. I'm signing up for irritability, which creates more overwhelm. And then the big problem is I don't know how to get unstuck from overwhelm. And I'm in this cycle and pattern that just keeps repeating itself, like awful Groundhog Day nightmare, right? So the piece to know is that it's never too late. You're never too deeply entrenched, and your kids are never too old to correct this kind of pattern that is at play. If you hear and see your kids looking at you, watching you, feeling attacked when you yell at them, feeling hurt, or it appears as if they don't hear you, they're tuning you out, that's self-protection, so good on them for them to tune out the negativity. They're trying to survive, just probably like you tried to survive your parenting that you received. It's the same cycle repeating itself. Those motherhood wounds and that overwhelm, and it becomes a trauma for them. It becomes their trauma they'll need to carry on and find a way to heal, unless we decide to heal it in us. Because whatever we don't heal becomes the pattern, we can put a stop to that. And every day my clients are ending generational trauma. I see it, and it is so freaking heart expanding. It's so beautiful. And just to share a little story, I hope this is okay with you, Virginia. Someone who is new to Awaken Motherhood, that's my online program, who's just started working with me now, shared the most moving story just recently that her little, she has a very little one, and her little one would ask her if she was happy. He's 2. So if you have a toddler, you know that they're watching you, and when you're not happy, they might say something like, "Are you okay, mommy? Are you sad, mommy? Are you happy, mommy?" And just very briefly into her work to eliminate overwhelm, on step 1, he changed that story and started saying to her, "I am so happy, mommy. I'm so happy." Now, what is that? What is that shift? Just feel that, I feel chills head to toe when I tune into what this little boy is experiencing. Mommy decided that she was going to learn how to make herself happy. And that took him off the hook from worrying about her unhappiness and trying to solve it, you guys. And kids do this all the time. From the time that they have a nervous system that's beginning to form and they can feel us and resonate with us, they know what's going on in us and they want to make it better. And so then you go, but why don't they just listen to me? That would make me happy. And that's not how it works. Our happiness doesn't originate in them. Our happiness doesn't come from the partner doing nice acts of service for us. That isn't where our happiness comes from. We've got to get it, that we're the ones stuck in toxic negativity. We're the ones perpetuating our own frustration, our own resentment, our own judgment. And until we do that work to take on and break those patterns that cause overwhelm and really rewrite the story of motherhood that we're living in, meaning you need strategies that work, you need expertise to learn how to do this, until you do that work and step into taking control of what you feel every day and the chronic mood that you're in, which can be joy, chronic joy, imagine, chronic lightheartedness, chronic playfulness, chronic ease. Ease is an addictive energy. Once you tap into that, you aren't going to want to step out of that. when you access these moods in your life and they're your normal kind of deck of cards that you're filing through every day, then overwhelm that has been stealing your joy has no power over you anymore. You get to choose and decide. And the amazing thing is, like, how many people try to do this on their own and beat themselves up because they can't fix it. Have you been there? Any of you on this call have been there? You're so mad at yourself for not being able to solve it through whatever avenues you've tried. Instead of just like, okay, that hasn't worked. Release the judgment. That's the overwhelm talking. Whenever we're beating ourselves up about, oh, I can't fix this, this is making me so mad. It's like, that's just the overwhelm talking, and it is a symptom of being stuck in a low vibrational energy of irritability and frustration. And as soon as you can see that, you can release that judgment on yourself. Step back and go, okay, so what I've done hasn't worked. I spent money on it. I spent time, or I didn't. I haven't really done anything. I'm just kind of sitting on my ass wishing it would get better. So wherever you're at, that's okay. That's where you are. No judgment from me. You might be judging yourself, but no judgment from me. What you'll realize is that whatever you've done just hasn't gotten you where you want to be now, and that just is what it is, you guys. And so let's not judge that. Let's just look at that and go, okay, now what is my mood showing me that I don't want? And what is it showing me that I do want more of? I don't want to yell at my kids anymore, for example. I don't want to pass on generational trauma. I don't want for my kids to grow up feeling like I did, that they're not good enough and that they're not truly loved and accepted as they are. If you're saying the buck stops here, then what action is aligned with that new level of commitment, with that decision? And that's your piece to take home with you from this talk. What action is aligned? And you guys, I'm more than happy to help you to suss out what that is. If you have not had a clarity call with me, or if you have and you weren't quite ready to digest all of it yet, and you are ready now and you want to know, like, where do I even begin? I'm ready for that freedom. I'm ready for that lightness. I want the ease that you're talking about. I want what your clients have, where babies look at them and say, I'm so happy, mommy. This is something that my kids say to me. We have the best life ever. And it's because I created it. If we don't use and exercise our will to claim what we want, and then accessing whatever faith you have, whatever higher energies, whatever your higher power is, working with God on connecting you to the resources that you need. You're really missing a big piece if you're just asking to be given whatever you want, rather than what action do I need to take, right? What's the piece that I need to get off my duff and do? And so if you're ready to find out what it's going to take for you to break the patterns that cause overwhelm, or if you're just thinking, God, I can't even imagine it, but I am sick of being where I am, and I'm sick of struggling, and I'm sick of suffering, then reach out and we'll have a conversation about it. Just book a free 45-minute clarity call with me, and I'm more than happy to make time and space for you. On that call, just to give you a little idea of what happens, it's going to be one of the most powerful conversations you've ever had in your life, because what we're going to find out is, why are you stuck where you are? And then we're going to find out, what do you want instead? And who has those conversations? You have conversations probably with people where you vent, where they vent, where you validate the suffering, but really, where do you ever have a space to this is what I'm stuck in and this is what I want? And then if we find out that I can help you to get there, then we can talk about next steps, and I might invite you into a process of talking about awakened motherhood and how we solve the problem for you. If not, and that happens too, then I will help you to connect with what is going to be your next best step toward working your way out of overwhelm. Okay, and I just invite you all to listen to your heart during this conversation and just see what it is guiding you toward, right? What is it guiding you toward? And to take your action step right now, I'll put the call link on this video, but I also just want to invite you to watch the webinar. If you have not seen 5 steps to eliminate overwhelm and anxiety in motherhood, I really encourage you to do that. I will also put the link above this video for that one. It's such a powerful window into the work I do with my clients. And, you know, it's enough like that you're going to want to set aside 45 minutes or however long it is to watch that thing in one sitting. And I'll put the replay link up there so you guys can catch it. It will help you to really tune into and identify like what step am I missing and do I need and want more. So watch that too. Yeah, and action step now, leave in the comments below what is your chronic mood that you find that you have settled into, and what is the one that you would rather be in? What is the dream that you could really be living in? Is it ease? Is it joy, everyday joy? What do you want to be addicted to? Is it playfulness or lightheartedness? Or maybe it's just calm. Maybe it's just really calm and in control. So not reacting or overreacting to kids having mood swings or partners being checked out. These are all things that shift and change and transform when we awaken. But just say where you are right now, okay? All right, leave me that below. I'm gonna go back and check out these comments, and just wishing you, wishing you whatever you need in order to take that action step that you've been avoiding or hiding from or numbing out to. Just inviting you into that space of accountability and action. All right? Have a great weekend.